I'm not sorry, because what do you mean? What do you fucking mean? What do you fucking mean? You mean to tell me ICE just fucking shot another person in cold fucking blood on the street? They executed him! I fucking watched it! I don't fucking care who you are! There is a thing called fucking due process, and ICE isn't it, mother... Tell me why 5 cops could still do the Sue thing, restrain a man, get him in handcuffs, without unloading a clip into his face while he's dead on the sidewalk! Wake the fuck up, America! Wake the fuck up! Wake up! I'm fucking begging you! Fight back!
There are thousands of them, but there's millions of us. There's fucking millions of us. This shit needs to fucking stop now, and no one's doing it but us. Start getting together in small groups, in secure communication forums, and talk about how you're going to protect yourselves, protect us, and fucking fight back.
For all the Black Americans saying ICE isn't our problem, you do realize that they're kidnapping Black Americans too.
White people, y'all not angry enough. They done took 2 of y'all people. They, as in those slave catchers, have taken 2 of y'all people. What y'all gonna do? You know what? I am used to seeing white folks turn over a car, set shit on fire when y'all win a hockey game, a baseball game, a football game. Y'all shut shit down. Where is that energy now? Y'all will tackle a motherfucker real quick. Y'all will fight the other team in the jerseys. Why y'all not handling business? I should see y'all setting shit on fire. I don't see none of that. Y'all not angry enough for me, cause baby, I'm gonna tell you like this. Y'all know how we get down. How are y'all gonna get down? Because 2 people have been taken out by ICE unarmed. 2 of y'all people. And y'all have yet to set shit off.
What you're seeing now is a moment of awakening. People are finally opening their eyes to how the system works. Because for a very long time, many people believed that the system would protect them, but that belief is cracking. And people are finally realizing that when injustice is normalized to happen on one particular group, it becomes a tool that can be used on anybody. So let's get to see more reactions. Then I'll come back with more commentary, all right?
They did it. They did it. They murked a white man, lawfully gun-owning American citizen. Everything they claim to protect, the identities that they uplift in order to oppress other people, the people who look like them that they want to keep and prop up as oppressors, as the ultimate benefactors of white patriarchal privilege. They just murked them. What does that mean? Tides have officially shifted. And that's not to mean that violence has not existed. That does not mean that. But the tides have officially shifted, because what they're showing us and telling us is that white supremacy, whiteness, white patriarchal bullshit is so fucking fake. It's so fake that even the people that are born into this, naturalized into this, can be murked if they don't want to uplift it. That there's a caveat to being protected. You have to not just be born into this. You have to subscribe to this belief, so much so that you allow us to do it, or we will get you to. And that is when a tide shifts, when the society, country visually sees that the people that this society is saying is a protected class naturally is not anymore naturally protected. It shows the cognitive dissonance. It shows that the shit is made up and fake. I've been saying for months that this moment in history, this moment in time for the United States of America is white folks' reckoning. It is y'all's reckoning more than anybody else's. More than anybody else's. But you have to stand 10 toes down. What standing 10 toes down looks like is it might, as terrifying as all this is, it also is making the divide even larger, which means it's making the us even bigger. And folks who are born into a white patriarchal privilege are not protected based off of their morals and ethics and ideologies, and now they're discarded and seen as the other. it makes the us versus them bigger. The us versus them is becoming bigger. As someone who has survived abuse, and a personal abusive relationship, an abuser amps up his abuse the more he feels like he's out of control. That's why it's the most dangerous. Survivor or victim of abuse is leaving. That also means that the abuser is realizing they are losing control. Yes, it could be the most dangerous. Yes, it's the most dangerous. Yes, but the abuser is losing control, and the abuser realizes it, and they're amping up the tactics. The abuser is the United States of America. It doesn't make it any less terrifying. It doesn't make it any less nerve-wracking. It doesn't make it any less new. We've been here before. United States of America been here before, but a lot of us have not been here before. The us is becoming bigger than them. You've got to draw a line in the sand, and that line in the sand is getting big and bold. You are either there or here, and even if you believe you're there, if they don't see you as there, they're not going to protect you either.
Shame on all these creators that have a huge platform or any platform at all and are deciding to not speak out about ICE. Your silence is deafening. Alex Preddy, 37-year-old ICU nurse, was just unalived by ICE in Minneapolis today. 2 weeks after Renee Good was unalived by ICE in Minneapolis. And I'm sure the administration is going to spin the story to be something that it is not. This man was holding a phone trying to protect another woman from being brutalized when he was tragically unalived. How do you have a platform and not speak about these things? Oh, I know how, because you're complacent. You don't care.
I've seen the clips coming out of Minneapolis, and I am sick to my stomach, and I'm sick at heart. I would like to say a couple of things in response to this horrific event. Number one, if you're a resident of Minnesota, please do not resort to violence. My sense is that's what they want. That's what they're trying to provoke. Don't give them what they want. Number two, if you are one of these people who has been silent, who has not wanted to get involved, who has been sitting on the fence, I think it's time for you to take a stand. If you support democracy, if you want to live in a free country, if you care about a constitutional America, now is the time to speak up. Because you're running out of time, and if you don't speak up now, you may never be able to speak up again.
I have been guilty, as has a large number of friends of mine, of saying the following. I'll be discussing what's going on, recounting the horrors going on in this country, particularly for anyone other than white. And we'll be talking about it, and then one or the other of us would say, well, you know, I just can't. I've stopped watching the news, or I can only take it for a little bit, and then I just have to turn it off because I can't abide this. And I would be right there with them saying, me too. There's only so much you can take. I mean, after all. I woke up at some point and recognized we only have the luxury of saying, I'm just going to turn this off and not look because we're white. That's it. We are white. So we have that luxury of averting our eyes, of closing our eyes, of taking a break from the horror. Once that realization hit me, I became what's probably a horror show to my friends. I don't know why anybody follows me on Facebook anymore, because the only thing that I post, almost, slight exception for the great-granddaughter, the only thing I post on there is the horrors of what's going on for so many people. And the horrors of watching the democracy, the destruction of it, which is pretty much accomplished, and the horrors of what this means for the whole world. We cannot turn away from it. We may not turn away from it. As someone said in a meme I saw the other day, somewhere right now in the United States, a young girl is writing in her diary. I've also been thinking and saying for quite a while, if anybody is going to be able to lead the resistance to what's going on, to be the biggest pain in the ass to ICE, to all of it, it's got to be old white women. Why? Not because we're born heroic, hardly that. But what we do have is the least to lose. We don't have young children that we have to protect. We don't have beginning careers that we want to protect. We have already lived long lives. We need to be on the forefront. I saw a post this morning by a young man who's British, but of some, I don't know, Asian descent maybe, saying in Minneapolis, he has never seen the kind of bravery he has as old white women are displaying. That's not bragging. That's saying, get out there, old white women. We need to be doing whatever we are physically and mentally capable of doing to stop this horror show.
I made a video about the first shooting when Renee Good lost her life. And now we have another victim, another lost life. What I need you to understand is that the U.S. Supreme Court is okay by these loss of lives. They're okay with this. They made it okay. They have given so much power to ICE agents that everybody's hands are tied. These ICE agents can literally take your life and my life, and nothing will be done about it. We are literally powerless in this nation right now. The minute the U.S. Supreme Court said it's okay for these agents to stop anybody that looks brown, break anyone's car windows, and drive them out, it starts with the law of the land. And he has the United States Supreme Court on his side. There's very little we can do. I know that I sound like I'm surrendering. But when you don't have the United States Supreme Court to be unbiased and to be on his side, the sky's the limit for these guys. They are literally taking U.S. citizens' lives. And the United States Supreme Court says, yeah, that's legal. Yeah, according to us, that's legal. He might as well be king. Because everything that those ICE agents are doing is A-OK by him. And it's A-OK by the United States Supreme Court. No one is safe under this administration. Not blacks, Hispanics, and even whites.
So when did Make America Great Again turn into the government can kill you, and explain it later? So here we are again, another person killed in Minnesota. 37-year-old American citizen killed by ICE and Border Patrol. And just like clockwork, here comes the story from the government after the body hits the ground. Now they say he was brandishing a weapon. But the footage raises a simple question. If he was brandishing a weapon, why were y'all trying to physically detain him? Now, we're being told that the victim was licensed to carry in Minnesota. And during the detainment, the thought is the gun fell out. And when they saw it, they didn't just shoot him. They emptied a whole clip on him while he laid on the ground. Does that sound familiar? It's police brutality, but with a border badge. Stop resisting or we'll kill you and explain it later. And let me tell y'all, this is exactly what Trump meant when he said no due process. They weren't joking. They were not exaggerating. They were rehearsing. This is the government as judge, jury, and executioner. No court, no trial, no day in front of a judge. And here's the part people don't want to hear. You let the government treat immigrants as less than human. So why are you shocked when they start treating citizens the exact same way? This is not a new America. This is the America that you empowered. So tell me, y'all tired of being great yet?
Take a deep breath and listen to me. The reason it is all escalating so quickly and getting so horrible so fast is that this right here is MAGA's last chance. This administration keeps getting more violent and more frantic because Minnesota shows them we are not scared of them and they do not have enough foot soldiers to keep us controlled. With all eyes on Minneapolis, this administration is throwing everything they have into one final attempt to scare us all into submission because they know if they can't scare us into silence at Minneapolis, they have lost. And if it works, if no one stands with Minneapolis and we allow ourselves to be scared into submission, we have lost forever. They win forever if that happens. This is the moment that we need every single city in the United States joining in this movement, joining in the resistance. Stop the work, stand up, and shout "fuck no" as loud as you can. If they scare us into obedience in Minneapolis, then they win, but if they do not, then they lose forever. Their last chance to scare us into obedience is gone. They have exhausted every other option that they have tried to get us to obey them. This is their last chance. That's why they're throwing everything they have at it. That's why they're getting so violent. They are terrified, so they're trying to scare you more. Cannot leave Minneapolis alone in this fight. Our president right now is throwing the majority of federal forces at Minneapolis, which means he doesn't have enough forces to occupy the other cities. He's dumping everything he has, everything he thinks he controls into Minneapolis, which means he doesn't have enough to control the rest. This resistance needs to spread to every city in the country right now, as loudly and hard to ignore as it possibly can be. And it needs to not let up, to not stop until they are beaten. This is the final battle for the soul of our nation, and we cannot let them win. Every city in the country, every city, right now, this is how you win.
Many people believed that if they stayed quiet, followed the rules, or supported certain politicians, that they would be safe. But that belief is cracking. What you are seeing now, white Americans are so angry, scared, and demanding justice after one of their own is killed. They are calling people not to stay silent, not because one life is more important, but because they are finally realizing that injustice does not stay in one place for long. For generations, Black Americans have lived through injustices, and they want the country that when a system is allowed to harm one group without consequences, it becomes more confident, more aggressive, and more dangerous. But many people ignore those warnings, or they said, that's not my problem, But that silence made the system even stronger. When people stayed quiet, when Black people were being over-policed, brutalized, or even ignored, the system learned that it could act without fear. So when immigrants are being treated as disposable, the system learned that cruelty had no cost. When poor communities cried out and they were being dismissed, the system learned that power could operate without accountability. And this is how injustice works. It starts with the most vulnerable, you see. It tests how far it can go. And when no one stops it, it spreads. And this is why we must never celebrate when injustice happens to one specific group, because when it is normalized, it becomes a tool that can be used on any other group based on race, citizenship, class, and none of those, will protect you when the power goes unchecked. Leadership that survives on division, fear, and hierarchy does not care about ordinary people. It only protects those at the very top. Everyone else is replaceable. Everyone else is expendable. And the moment people stop being useful, they are discarded. What you are witnessing now is not a sudden change in the system. It is a system being exposed. And this moment gives us a choice. We can either fall back into silence once the headlines fade, or we can learn from this and do better. If we truly want a safer, fairer society, we must care when black people, immigrants, or when the poor people suffer, or when anyone is treated as less than human, because protecting their rights is how we protect our own. This moment is painful, but it is also very important. It is showing us that the idea of it can never happen to me is an illusion. The system does not have favorites, it only has targets. So let this be a lesson we finally learn. Silence is not neutrality. Silence is permission. And when we allow injustice to live unchecked, it eventually knocks on every door. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.